What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and I am joined with my Team Ice Wall teammate, Brandon, also known as Ice Boy. And today we are going to be having a pre-meta BT10 tier list. So, just so you know, I have some very strong opinions about BT10. So, as always, this will be a great video where I put my opinions on the internet and we share opinions. But either way, I'm just going to warn you now. If my tier lists in the past you thought were crazy, we're about to get wild. Before we get into the video really quick, I just want you to know that my boy Brandon here just started a brand new YouTube channel based around kind of opening sealed packs. So if you're interested in that, the link will be in the description. Be sure to go check that out. Alright, so the first deck that we got here is going to be the Crossheart, and we're just going to automatically, I think, put this in tier 1. Now, I do think that going into BT10, that the format is going to be very similar to BT9, but Crossheart is just the deck that I think is going to come out on top out of all the BT10 decks. I think it'll be in tier 1. I don't think it's going to be top of tier 1. I definitely don't see it being as high as most other people would put it because of the JP meta. I think it's not going to be as dominant here, but still going to be a deck that's up there. What do you think?
I completely agree. We've gotten a few hours of testing into it, and I've played quite a bit of it. And don't get me wrong, it's nice when it pops off, but it can clunk in the weirdest ways. You're missing one weird piece, you know, and you just can't find it. You have to dig through your deck, and it was in security the whole time. Go ahead.
Gamamon? Mm-hmm. I don't know what this does. I'm putting it in meme tier. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know what it does. Alright, so main mode, we're going to count this as the Rise X build because I think that's what's going to be most optimal. We're putting it tier 2 because I think that it is just very strong. Being able to play Sunrise for free, put it on top security, is very underrated. Yellow Hybrid spam to go for game is very strong. Alright, next up is the Venusmon. I'm assuming this is going to be security control, and this is tier 1 above Crossheart. This deck, security control, is insane. Security control is going to do very well versus pretty much every deck that came out in BT10. It already did well versus BT9, so it's not going anywhere. Brandon knows all about security control.
All I have to say is I completely agree, and I've taken hours of beatings from it.
Bloomlord, I'm just going to put... Honestly, I'm just going to put tier 2.5 till we get Hydramon. I think it's just worse than Grandis. And Grandis goes in tier 2, so I think this just auto goes in tier 2.5. I don't know. Bloomlord's alright, but I think it gets hurt really bad by Crimson Blaze, and I also think it's just Grandis with 10 extra steps.
Yeah, it's just missing the EX3 support, and then it's going to be great.
Dark Nightmon, I'm going to put in tier 2, probably above main mode. I actually think the BT10 support I got is pretty decent. If you need a build, go check out the video I uploaded. Got a good build for you, but the deck can operate pretty well. I don't think it's anything too crazy, but I think the support I got finally made it viable.
I like the Digi-crossing with it instead of the on-play where the previous one was.
7,
yeah, thank you.
Minerva's tier 2. I'll put it above everything else. It's just Lilith loop, but now you got tools that make it way better. There's apparently loopless Minerva that I haven't really seen, but I'm just going to consider this with loop. I think it's still tier 2. I think it's going to compete. It's a very high ceiling deck, so it's definitely not a deck where you can just kind of pick up and have a bunch of success with it, but there's going to be people who are going to play it and have success with it.
Almost want to put it in the end of tier 1 just because I've seen it go off so hard so many times, but I completely agree with you. Tier 2 is where it does belong at the moment.
D-Brigade, I don't actually know where to put. It's probably tier 2 somewhere. It's still really good. D-Brigade did well really last format in some tournaments. I think it's always viable. You can really just kind of rush your way through. I don't know exactly where I'll put it, but for now I'm just going to kind of keep it at the bottom of tier 2. But D-Brigade, it's kind of just that rookie rush style. It's going to get way better when EX3 comes out, but for BT10, I still think it's probably just chilling low tier 2. Maybe tier 2.5 how you look at it, but tier 2 is fine.
It's Commandramon. It does Commandramon things.
Ophani Loop goes tier 2.5 because I think this was a deck where people just kind of got hyped on it, but I never really thought it was that good. It was just like security control, but like security control at home. Wargreymon X, I don't know. Above these, but also probably just tier 2.5. I don't think it's anything super crazy. It's just, you like War Greymon X, here's a deck for you. Gallantmon, I just got trashed here. Sorry.
I was a Gallantmon simp for the anime. I really was, and I want it to do better in the card game, but it just doesn't.
Melga going top of tier 1. If you think this deck is going anywhere, you are insane. This deck's still going to be winning tournaments, topping a bunch, being around. It's very strong. It does well into all the BT10 decks. It was the top deck last format. There are some things in this format that do give it some trouble, like Venusmon, but there's still ways to play around it. I think the decks that base around Venusmon outside of security control are going to not be maybe as strong to even deal with the Metal Garurumon. So yeah, this deck is not going anywhere.
Metal Garurumon X is strong, it's fast, it's been solved, it's consistent.
Magnamon X, I'm just going to put like at the, I don't know, either bottom of tier 2, top of tier 2.5. I think it's a deck that's done really well, but I think it's kind of just started to fall off a little bit. Shout out to our teammate Luis for keeping Armor Rush alive, but I still, and Kate. Kate's been running it, but...
And killing with it.
I think it's just a deck that, in the grand scheme of the entire metagame, fell off a little bit.
I think it's going to do really good against the Shoutmon matchup, the Crossheart matchup. So if we see a lot of Crossheart, which we might, like, in a tournament, you could see...
I could see it going up, that's true.
You could see it going up.
Grandis, I'd put it
at a 2.
I don't know, I'd put it above... I put like here.
Yeah.
I think it's like there. Grandis is better than Bloomlord. So that's kind of the green deck of the format. But you're going to be able to go for just giant Pierce. So the new Kokuumon from BT10 being able to give you extra memory gain when you're piercing through stuff and be able to give you more viability to your Kokuumon X is just going to be a big buff. You get a lot better of a rookie to play.
It might help the deck be a little more consistent from what I've seen. Sometimes it bricks, and when it bricks hard. So maybe this will help fix it.
I think also the memory gain will just help extend your plays if you don't have the memory. Like if you're missing the green memory boost or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, I think, better than the Okuamon, like the old Okuamon that has the same heritable.
Oh, I completely...
You can still play because it's a 2 to Digivolve, but I think as far as being a rookie, it's kind of just a little bit better. Galmon, Black or Greymon is probably going like here somewhere. I'll put it right there. I think it has to be. It was already being very dominant in the last format, and it does really well into this new format, especially if Cross goes really hard. I also think it does decently well versus security control, and that's going to be pretty big. But I think overall, it's just the deck towards the end of BT9 was on a come-up, and like I said, I think it's going to be similar to BT9, and if Crossheart's the deck that we're kind of looking out for, then Black or Greymon's going to be able to just pop all of its Taikis.
Yeah, I've seen some lists add Megadramon for more Tamer deletion, and I see that going well. Just being able to delete Tamers for becoming stronger, Black or Grey is going to destroy a lot of Crossheart if Crossheart can't go fast enough.
Right. Alright, this is going to break my heart to do, but I got to put this above security control. I hate it. This is like the worst thing that I got to do on the list, but tournament results-wise and the numbers, it's just undeniable. This deck also, sure, it can have some problems versus Crossheart, but it is just the deck where when you pop off, you win the game. You're going to be able to swing multiple checks, unsuspend, keep going, and we don't have the Dora Gray hit, so I don't see the power level of this deck really going down at all. And the thing is with Kongu does pretty well versus Crossheart as well, so it is a semi-decent anti-card to kind of slow down some of the damage. Obviously, it won't slow down everything, but it does slow down the early chips you can build up in raising. Mastamon is, I'll put it like here. I don't think Mastamon fell off super hard. I think it will get better going in with the new support in the future, but as of the current metagame, it definitely fell off super hard. I never really thought Mastamon was as strong as other people thought it was, so tier 2.5 feels kind of right. I don't see many people playing it outside of my local meta either.
Yeah, I could see it creeping up its way to tier 2 if, once again, like with the armor situation, if there's a bunch of Crossheart and the one guy brings, one or two people bring over Masta, they play it really well and delete Tamers and are able to take advantage of that, but I completely...
That's still going to be a pretty rough matchup.
Rough matchup still. It's not going to be...
The thing is about these matchups, though, as he is correct, is they will be kind of meta-dependent, but they have very polarizing matchups.
Yeah.
All right, next deck that we got is going to be Jasmon with a bunch of the new Jasmon support. I actually think it's going to be tier 2. I actually kind of want to put it above tier 2 just because I thought this deck was going to be really bad because old Jasmon felt like you just had a bunch, like 2 or 3 different things you're trying to do in one deck. And I thought with all the new Sistermons that it was going to feel the same way. But this deck feels very cohesive and very consistent, especially with the new like option card that allows you to reduce the Digivolution cost. This deck kind of pops off. Since this is like a pre-tier list, I think this deck can probably be the one that changes the most on the tier list because this deck could just flop really hard or it could pop off really hard.
When Jasmon sends out all those Sistermons and it goes fast and it just gets rid of all your security early game, it feels like there's nothing you can do. So its spot on the tier list is a really good spot. I agree. It can creep up its way to tier 1, seeing how the meta game goes out, but perfect spot.
Ragna, you guys aren't going to like this one. You're not going to like this one. Ragna fans hate him. It's going to meme tier. I'm sorry. This deck I think can pop off really hard, but I'm going to tell you something. This is the first deck where I was testing against Jesse and I literally couldn't stop laughing because of how bad the matchup was versus just everything we were playing. Like I was literally started laughing. And I think it's a deck that could pop off, but I think Ragna itself is a side package to support other things, and the deck itself is kind of it's going to meme tier.
I was going to say the same thing in regards to Ragna being a side package that'll help decks, especially decks in the future. But as a archetype, it's hilarious.
Next up is Imperial, a deck that is very close to both of us here. Both of us received our Nationals invite this year with Imperial Dramon, and so it is a deck that is very close to us. However, as much as we have played it, we can both be very realistic in the fact of where it is in the metagame, and with that, we are going to put it at the top of tier 2.5. Yeah. Above Magna X, this was a deck that was extremely prevalent, very powerful, had access to crazy combos, very powerful cards. However, then Melga started to get more optimized, get more popular. Black War Greymon with the Greymon X antibody and the Alphamons teching in things like Breath of the Gods just made the matchups very hard. And so, as much as I love the deck, that's where I gotta put it.
I ain't got much else to say on it other than the fact that I don't want to dissuade people from still playing it. You know, if it is your favorite Digimon archetype or you enjoy playing it, it's still viable, but
it's not winning a tournament.
It's not winning tournaments.
D-Reaper, I'm going to put it in meme tier for now because I think it was a deck that popped off out of nowhere and had just like crazy tournament results, and then it's so just the same thing every time that most decks can play around it, and also most decks are so fast that the D-Reaper just can't even keep up, and the Gatekeeper doesn't even matter because you don't have enough time. And when you're playing against more decks that are going to be playing the ability to attack over unsuspended Digimon, especially with the introduction of Jasmon, the Mother D-Reaper is just going to get way weaker. So I don't really think it's trashed here. So it's going to have to just go up in the meme tier, the 20 searcher tier.
20 searchers tier. Every time I think of D-Reaper, it's funny you mentioned we put it in the meme tier. I think of the troll face. You know, when it does get out the
Beelsmon going in trash tier. Gallant and Beelsmon, the kind of homies going together, but yo, this deck feels like a deck that has a lot of support, but it don't do enough. I think the Beelsmon being able to go for a bunch of checks is really easy to play around. It's very predictable, and again, it's a deck where the metagame is so fast that this is just not the metagame where it can really thrive. Justimon, I don't know what it does, but from my experience of trying to make Justimon work, it made me mad, so it's just going in trash tier automatically, and the only explanation is that I couldn't make it work and it made me upset.
I actually disagree with this a little bit, only because I faced it last night,
right?
In the locals we went to, and I was playing Crossheart. I would put it at the very end of 2.5, maybe meme, because it kind of worked a little bit, and you know, maybe I was manipulated by that one game, but
I'll give you this then. We'll put it in meme tier.
I'll take meme tier.
I'll put it in meme tier.
I'll take meme tier.
All right, last deck, Blue Flare. Now, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna say it straight out the gate. You Blue Flare enthusiasts are on that copium because this deck is terrible. This deck doesn't have a game plan. It has so many bad matchups. Everybody's telling me it's the new blue hybrid. It's not. It is, right now it's a side package to better cores, and then in the future it's going to get better. But wow, Blue Flare out of all the new blue decks has just got to be the worst. Out of the Imperial, Bond of Friendship, Melga, it is lacking. And so for that, it's going all the way no, I'm just kidding. I'll probably put it like bottom of tier. I'd probably put it like right below Imperial. I'll put it below like Magna. Yeah, I'll put it there. I'll give you that. Honestly, I'd probably put it in trash tier because this is the only deck outside of Beelsmon X5 that is banned in the Team Icewall practice because it lost so much that we deemed it bad practice and had to ban it from our practice.
So I know we're banning it, but I'm going to try to bring it back.
Like, don't get me wrong, I tried to build a new build that is hopefully to fix it, and Brandon has it laid out right here. And if we can get it work, it will be unveiled on the YouTube later. However, this deck is not it. But regardless, that is the tier list. No, the blue flare part is not a meme. That deck's terrible, and I can't wait to get clipped on that later. So, I am Primitive. I got my teammate Brandon with me. Be sure to go check out his collection channel description down below. But we are going to go ahead and get on out of here. So I'll catch you next time. Hope you have a fantastic day. Peace out.
Adios.